leave a message after the tone. Please leave a message after the tone.
It takes you on this journey of psychosis, if you will, and this man is face to face with the devil, who is a reflection of himself. And um, it was so trippy. I felt like this kind of fever dream, and both the characters, both the actors did such an incredible job. I really felt for the man because he just kept getting tricked over and over. I was like, don't take the cigarette, come on. And everything that was presented to him was not as it seemed. And I thought that the filmmakers did a really good job of creating the world and the environment through colors and lighting and visual effects. But also, I think what played a really big part was the sound effects and the sound editing. Even right from the beginning, it was so chaotic, and there were all of these different sounds layered on top of one another, and it was overwhelming, and you could feel that anxiety and that tension that he's also feeling as he is getting into the bath and taking these drugs. And all throughout it, I felt like there was a really intentional use of different sound effects and music and everything to create a mood and set a tone and really push the story. And I thought that all of the creative elements worked really well together to create this very dreamlike but more nightmare-like scenario. And the performances were great. The creativity was over the top.
I think there was a great use of lighting to and color to like establish tone, feeling like you're really in the pits of hell, and really really getting that trippy, scary feeling in there. Really psychedelic, with all the mandalas going on, these quick images of synapses firing, almost in like a cutaway style that kind of reminded me of Baz Luhrmann a little bit. But really interesting story about this man who does drugs, and then he goes in this mirror and he's talking to the devil and finding out about himself and like trying to get out and like what's real, what's not real, how can he save himself from this situation type story. Really interesting dialogue, really scary kind of. But I just really, what stuck out to me was like the use of gold and metallics throughout. Not so much as like story devices, but almost as like catching the eye and kind of like, I don't know, I think it was visually really pleasing, and it just fit where the story was going, if that makes sense. I really enjoyed it. A really interesting story.
Bizarre in many different levels. The script is, however, totally deep. I think it's very clever. I love the title. And then we have these images of neurons probably making connections during a thought process. There's a bit gore at times and also frustrating. The level of bullying or pressure this character puts into the person there. The interactions with these two characters and the analogy with the usage of religious items like the book or the apple and the snake, and then coming to the concept of freedom and choice versus destiny, and how it could have been. It is yeah, it's a bit intense visually, but I think the script is completely clever and very deep, profound deep.
Psychedelic is the best word I can use for this short. One of the things that I definitely wanted to gush over a little bit was just the lighting. The lighting definitely helped exacerbate this dark fantasy aesthetic that I felt while watching this. I loved how the settings were filled with different colors. You had your yellows, your purples, just different colors to set different moods, and it was very beautiful to look at. And also the costuming made everything feel otherworldly. Again, in that Wonderland kind of set feeling of, this is not natural.
Wow, what a trip. This was such a trip to watch, but in such a good way. There are times I see more of an artsy type of film and I don't like them mostly. This one was so good. Just from the opening shot of the in the mirror, it really grabbed me right away and didn't let go. I didn't want it to end. I thought the sound effects and all the visual effects were so cool and intriguing. I was enthralled by this whole thing. Loved the dialogue between the devil and the guy. Just so interesting, visually interesting and creative. Just the imagination that went into this, with the devil and all the sinful things, and the meaning of life, and what's the meaning of all this, and putting our money on all these different places in our time and all these different places. What does it actually come to? What's the point? Giving up on life because you're not getting the answer. Just everything was there's so much, so much in this film. The lighting, the music, all of it were so good. Just set such a tone for this. I mean, just the set design and the costumes and the makeup, and it had an otherworldly feel, and just, again, the visual effects were great. The editing was amazing. The characters were so great. The pacing was really good because it kept moving along great, and then it would take its moments to slow down and have the dialogue and then pick right back up with the pacing. The point of the story, I mean, just how we feel, I think, in daily life, like being a puppet, having to pay taxes, and putting our money and our time into all these things that really aren't, they don't feel like they get us anywhere. And what's the point of life? It's just quite a trip, I have to say.
Very visually interesting with a lot going on, very interesting set design and all that. And I really liked how visual the entire short was. Like there was a lot of color, a lot of cool editing choices overall, and yeah, I think that really helped the whole experience of watching it, is how visually appealing it is to watch.
If you do drugs, you're going to end up having a conversation with the devil. It's pretty frightening. It's a bizarre concept as well. The visuals in this were amazing, with the neurons firing in the brain as the guy talks. The close-ups with the glitter and it sparkling, they were amazing visuals. And then the red color of hell as the guy is talking with the devil, and to show that the devil is a trickster. But I do think this is a film that should be shown to anyone who considers doing drugs, because it might definitely change their mind.